Good morning, friends. This is Steve and Karen and Hope, my daughter. Uh, we have something to present to you. So, good morning. We hope you're having a good time, and we know that the world is passing through very hard time. And at this time, when the world is passing through a hard time, it's great that you get an encouragement. So today, I want to encourage you that God is still in control. He understands all things, and He said these things will be there. They will be there. The only challenge that we have, we don't know when it's going to end. But we also pray and hope that God is going to finish it in a good time. When I use the name hope, it means we are expecting Him to actually do something about it. So thank you very much. Uh, Let me know if you are hearing from me. You can say something. Yeah. Uh, Today uh, we are having a sacrificial uh, Friday, and I would like to reach you through the YouTube of Nakuru Vineyard. That's where we are, and we hope that you're going to be blessed. So, our message today, the title is A Prayer That God Will Not Ignore. When you're passing through trouble, always you look for a everybody would like to know that God is hearing his prayers, and that's a very powerful thing. I remember when I was young, I used to tell my dad, Dad, I need shoes. And when my dad tells me, I've had you, I could go and play, knowing that my dad has had me. And I think this thing, we all have the same challenges as we grow up. So, a prayer that God cannot ignore is the title. And we're going to read from Isaiah 65, verse 24.
Isaiah 65:24. And it shall be that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear.
The Bible says, before, it will be
They call.
before they call. Before you call, you get an answer. Before even you speak, he will answer you. How will you feel when before even you ask, you get something that you wanted? Before even you speak, you get it. Some people don't know if this word is in the Bible. Actually, it's there in Isaiah 65, verse 24. It's a powerful word. There are people that even before they call, God comes. And sometimes maybe we are wondering, is it true? Are these people, or is it just written? Is it in the Old Testament? Is it just written there and it has never happened? I would like to give you an example of somebody who did that actually in reality. And that was Solomon in First King 3 5.
First Kings chapter 3 verse 5, it says, In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, Ask what I shall give you.
You can see from what we have read, he was asked to ask whatever. God comes to you and asks you, ask whatever you want. It's like in real time, a president coming to you and asking you, what can I ask anything? I'll do it for you. How will you feel? You feel like every problem has been answered. And that's what happened to Solomon. Before even he requested God, God visited him and asked him, what can I do for you? But these things don't just come that way. There is normally a value in a prayer for your prayer to be answered before you even pray. There is something of value, something that backs your prayer. It's like when you're visiting somebody and the person doesn't know you, but you tell him, I've been sent by your son. That thing will touch him because that's a backing. Oh, my son, that one they'll accept you. They'll start speaking to you. And in the same way, if our prayers have got a backing, it has got a power, it has got an authority behind it. And authority is not just confessing and confessing and confessing the word of God. There is an authority. We all remember some people were casting demons, and the demons told them, Peter, John, all of those guys, we know them, but who are you? Who are you? It's the same thing that happens even to us. Who are you? It means that you have a backing. Do you have a relationship with God? Does your prayer have a relationship? Or you just want to be answered a prayer and then you go do all the other things? So God appears to Solomon and asked him, what can I do for you? And it was at night. It means that God did not sleep. He wanted to know, what is this young man? What does the young man want from me? But what happened? You cannot read just that verse by itself. You need to go back in First King 3, verse 4.
And it says, the king went to Gibeon, near Jerusalem, where stood the tabernacle and bronze altar, to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings Solomon offered on that altar.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. There was a backing for that prayer. This young man had sacrificed 1,000 bulls and he did not ask for anything. He just sacrificed 1,000, telling God, thank you. He did not ask anything and he went to sleep. Sacrificing 1,000 bull. How much is a bull in your country? If it's 50, if it's 100,000, you multiply by 1,000. What do you get? You get like 100 billion, 100 million. Imagine somebody just giving you 100 million. Even if in my life or any of you, somebody gives you a lot of money, you'll ask him. You'll not say, you'll ask him, what do you want me to do for you? And he tell you, I'm giving you free. But how? What? You will be disturbed. So there was a backing for that prayer, for God just to come and answer. For Isaiah 65:24 to happen in your life, there has to be a backing. You can imagine you're going to a bakery to buy bread and you don't have money. You ask for the bread and they ask you to pay, and you're telling these guys, I don't have money. You're telling the guys that, my father owns this bakery and they have never introduced to you. They will start verifying to find out exactly who are you. And if they find, it will take time. You will not be given by that only, by saying it's my father. He can be your father. And what about if his phone is off or he's in a meeting? Will you get that package, what you wanted? No. But if you have money, the currency of that place, you will be able to buy whatever you want. It's like when you go to America, if you have Kenyan money and you're in America, you are a rich man in Kenya, but you have Kenyan money and you're in America. You will take a lot of things, but you cannot pay by Kenyan currency because they don't understand. They'll even call a police and say that you have run mad because they don't know that money. But if you have American currency in America, you will go anywhere, any hotel, you will buy anything that you want. They will not ask you even where you're coming from. They will not ask you for an ID. As long as you produce their money, you are safe. You will get anything you want. But some of our prayers is like when you pray to God, it's like the angels go through some books to find where your name is. What have you ever done? Are you real? It takes time. But there are people who have touched God, whereby their things will come immediately. And this is the way it is. So Ephesians 3:20.
Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20. Oh yes. And it says, now to him who by, in consequence of the action of his power that is at work within us, is able to carry out his purpose and do super abundantly, far over and above all that you dare ask or think, infinitely beyond our highest prayers, desires, thoughts, hopes, or dreams.
Yeah, that's Amplified.
Yes.
So the Amplified talks about, imagine God can give you things that even you have never thought of, you've never seen, things that you cannot imagine. That's God. He can give you things that you can imagine. So if you read that and Isaiah 65, it shows you that God can give you something even before you ask for, because there are things that you even don't know you need them. God can give them unto you. And then I want to give you another example of somebody in the New Testament who touched God. Acts 10:3 and 4.
Acts chapter 10, verse 3 and 4, it says, about the ninth hour of the day, he saw clearly in a vision an angel of God entering and saying to him, Cornelius. And he, gazing intently at him, became frightened and said, What is it, Lord? And the angel said to him, Your prayers and your generous gifts to the poor have come up as a sacrifice to God and have been remembered by him.
Yeah, you see, Cornelius also God could not sleep because of this Cornelius. And Cornelius was not even a Jew, but because of his prayers and the alms and whatever he was giving, he touched the heart of God until God sent an angel to speak to him. That's what I'm talking about. Does your prayer has a backing? Or is it just about confessing? We normally read the book, the Bible, and say that the wealth of this world has been laid down for us. And then we go confessing in people's building, people's property, confessing. After, instead of you getting what you have confessed, you find that the other person that you're confessing to pick his things, he gets double. He buys even greater things, and they are not even born again. Our prayers needs to have a backing for us to confess and get something, so that God cannot ignore our prayers. And people ask, now how do I do that? For your prayers not to be ignored, you don't need only confession only. You need to serve God. You need to be generous and obedient, even with your